Hi everyone, Mrs. Bradshaw here. Today we are going to review multiplication. Our learning goal is I can multiply a multi-digit number by a single-digit number. So as we go through these today, the first few we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve together. Then what I would like you to do is pause the video, solve the problem on your own, and then hit play to see if you got the correct answer. So let's go ahead and do the first one together. So when I'm solving these, the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to pretend that this digit right here is not there. So I'm going to cover it up. And I'm going to solve 4 times 3. Well, I know 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to put my 2 and carry my 1 up here. So now I have 4 times, well, in order to figure out what I'm multiplying by, I have to uncover that number. So I'm going to move it to the number I already solved. So I have 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20, but don't forget, I added a plus 1 up here. So 21. So I can write my full 21 down here. So I have the answer 212. So I know 53 times 4 is 212. Let's solve this one. Again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up this number because I don't want to see it right now, so I can solve an easier problem. 2 times 8. Well, I know 2 times 8 is 16. I put my 6, carry my 1 up here. So then I have to figure out 2 times what? So I'm going to move this over, and I'm doing 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1 I carried is 3. So I know that 18 times 2 is 36. Let's try this one. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up that extra number, and I am now going to solve 7 times 0. Well, I know anything times 0 is a 0. So I'm going to move my number over, or my box over, and now I have 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. So 20 times 7 is 140. We're going to solve this one together as well. 6 times 2, oh, I forgot. I want to cover up that extra number so it doesn't get too hard for me. I'm going to cover this up, and now I have the problem 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Put my 2, carry my 1 because I can't put it under here. Now I'm going to move this box over, and now I have 6 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30, plus the 1 I carried, which is 31. 31. So my answer is 312. So 52 times 6 is 312. I would like you to try this problem on your own. Go ahead and pause your video now. All right, let's solve it together. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up that number so it makes it easier for me to solve. And I have 4 times 4. Well, I know 4 times 4 is 16. So I put my 6, carry my 1. I carry my 1 because I can't put 16 when I only have a ones place. So I'm going to move that over. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1, which is 5. So I know 14 times 4 is 56. Go ahead and pause your video now to solve 37 times 2. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. I'm going to cover up that second number, and I'm going to solve 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Put my 4, carry my 1. I am now going to move this over because I am done with the ones place. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So I know that 37 times 2 is 74. All right, you will notice that this problem is a little bit different. Instead of having just 2 digits on top, we now have 3. So we are going to take the same approach on this one. So I'm going to cover up those extra numbers. So I'm going to cover up that one, and I'm going to cover up this one. So now I am dealing with just 2 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. I put my 8, carry my 1. All right, I know it might seem a little confusing, but all I have to do is move this one over because I'm done with the ones place and I'm showing the tens place now. So I can solve 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10, but don't forget we carried a 1, so we have 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Put my 1, carry the tens place of that 11. And I have to move this box over because I'm now in the hundreds place. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus the 1 is 5. So I know that when I move these boxes away, 259 times 2 is 518. All right, let's solve this one again together. I'm going to cover up those extra numbers so that I can just focus on one number. So I have 5 times 5. Well, I know 5 times 5 is 25. Put my 5, carry my 2. Now I have to expose my second number and cover up the one I'm done with. 5 times 0 is 0, but I have to add 2 to that from the 25 we carried, and so I'm left with 2. I am not done yet. I have to move the next box over to see my last number. 5 times 6 is 30. So my answer is 3,025. Oops, move those out of the way. So 605 times 5 is 3,025. I would like you to pause your video now and solve 859 times 2. All right, let's go ahead and solve it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up those extra numbers so that it's easier for me to know what I'm dealing with. If you don't have to cover them up, that's okay. So I'm going to do 2 times 9, which is 18. Put my 8, carry my 1. I am then going to expose my second number. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1, which is 11. Put a 1, carry the tens. I then move my box over to see my very last number, and I have 2 times 8, which is 16, plus the 1 I carried, which is 17. So my answer is 1,718. All right, it's getting a little bit harder. We have 3 problems that look like this. So I'm going to cover up not 1, not 2, but I'm covering up 3 numbers now. So I'm covering up all of these extra numbers. So that way it's going to be easier for me to solve. So now that they're covered, I'm going to start with 3 times 1, which is 3. I don't have to carry because I have nothing in the tens place. Move this one over, I'm dealing with the next number. 3 times 2 is 6. I do not have to carry anything because it is a single number. Move that over. 3 times 3 is 9. And I'm going to move over my final box. 3 times 8. I have 24. So I now have to put a comma in this number, and a comma goes every 3 digits starting from the right side. So my answer for this problem, oops, move that back, sorry guys. For 8,321 times 3 is 24,000. Remember, comma represents the end of a period. 963. Let's go ahead and try this one together. I'm going to cover up my extra numbers. I cover up just so it's easier for me. If I wasn't using a computer, I could grab a couple of sticky notes and cover up those extra numbers and move my sticky notes as I went along. So I have 2 times 4, which is 8. Move over that box that I put, or sticky notes if you're doing it on a piece of paper. 2 times 0 is 0. Move over that next box. 2 times 5 is 10. I put my 0 and I carry my 1 because the 1 was in the tens place. Then I do 2 times 9, which is 18, plus 1, which is 19. I then count 3 over, put my comma. So my answer to 9,504 times 2 is 19,008. I would like you to go ahead and try to solve 1,375 times 4 on your own. All right, let's go ahead and solve it together. I went ahead and covered up all of the extra numbers. 4 times 5 is 20, so I put my 0, carry my 2. Then I'm going to move my box or my sticky note over because I am done with the ones place. 4 times 7 is 28, plus my 2 that I carried is 30. Put my 0, carry my 3. I'm going to move over because I am done with the tens. I'm now working with the hundreds. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Put my 5, carry my 1. I'm done with the hundreds. I am moving on to the thousands. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. I'm going to move these out of the way. So 1,375 times 4 is 5,500.